I never thought I'd be the one calling the cops on a corner office queen like Karen Whitaker. But there I was, phone in hand, dialing campus security while she screamed obscenities that could curdle milk. It started with a freak thunderstorm ripping through our Silicon Valley Tech Park last October, turning the employee lot into a war zone of downed limbs and puddles deep enough to swallow a sneaker. And Karen? The self-appointed enforcer of our HOA-style corporate village rules. She rolled up in her gleaming black Escalade like she owned the wreckage, parking dead center across two premium spots, mine and my buddy Raj's, claiming divine right because executives deserve priority in chaos. That's when I snapped the photo that would go viral. Karen, Botox-frozen scowl etched under her designer sunglasses, flipping off a cluster of us gawking devs as thunder rumbled like applause from the gods. One click, one upload to the company Slack, and the digital guillotine dropped, her empire of passive-aggressive emails and neighborhood watch lists crumbling in real time. You know those corporate campuses that look like they were designed by a committee of architects on Adderall? Ours at Next Tech Innovations was straight out of that playbook. Sprawling glass buildings with koi ponds, free kombucha taps, and parking lots segregated like a high school cafeteria. The A-listers got the shaded spots near the executive gym, while us mid-level coders fought for scraps under the relentless Bay Area sun. But it wasn't just the company that kept the peace. We had this quasi-HOA setup, the Next Tech Village Association, born from a mix of nosy retirees in the adjacent condos and power-tripping VPs who thought community meant my way or the highway. Karen Whitaker was the undisputed mayor of that mess. 52, VP of Operations. With a resume that screamed, I climbed the ladder on the backs of interns. Blonde bob, pearl earrings, and a walk that said she'd once interned for Condoleezza Rice or something equally mythical. She chaired the NVA with the fervor of a televangelist, firing off weekly newsletters about maintaining our oasis that were basically manifestos against leaf blowers after 8 a.m., or barbecues with ethnic spices that might offend the sense-sensitive. We'd all rolled our eyes at her for years, me included, since I was just a senior software engineer trying to debug quantum algorithms without her passive-aggressive post-its on my Prius about fuel-efficient virtue signaling. But that storm? It was biblical. Hit on a Tuesday night, winds howling like a bad acid trip, uprooting palms and snapping power lines across the valley. By Wednesday morning, the lot was a disaster, branches piled like pickup sticks, a transformer sparking lazily in the corner, and half the spots underwater. Management sent out an all-hands email. Work from home, if possible. Shuttle service for the brave. Me? I braved it. Raj, too. We had a sprint deadline for the AI ethics module, and Zoom just couldn't capture the whiteboard chicken scratches we needed. I pulled into the lot around 9 a.m., dodging potholes that had bloomed overnight. And there it was, Karen's Escalade, squatting like a territorial rhino across spots 17 and 18, the ones with the EV chargers we all coveted. Her hazard lights blinked lazily, as if that excused the blockade. I parked my beat-up hybrid 3 rows back, sloshing through ankle-deep water to the entrance, muttering under my breath. Raj texted me a thumbs-down emoji when he arrived 10 minutes later, forced to valet his Tesla at the visitor lot. Inside, the office buzzed with storm stories, power outages that fried someone's crypto wallet, a drone delivery stuck in a tree. But by lunch, the real drama brewed in the break room. That's when I overheard Karen holding court by the espresso machine, her voice slicing through the chatter like a Ginsu knife. Darlings, I had no choice. The debris was everywhere. Safety first. Those spots are executive reserved anyway. The rest of you can improvise like the innovators you are. Innovators? More like indentured servants. Raj, ever the firebrand from Mumbai via Stanford, couldn't let it slide. He sidled up, coffee in hand, All casual charm. Karen, with respect. Spots 17 and 18 aren't reserved. They're first come for anyone charging. And blocking them? That's kinda against the NVA parking code you yourself wrote. She turned, slow as a turret. Her smile a rictus of corporate frost. Rajesh, is it? Sweetie, codes are guidelines. In a crisis, priorities shift. Executives keep this place running. You code monkeys keep the lights on. Literally, in this weather, the room went pin-drop silent. A few interns stifled giggles. But I saw the flicker in eyes, the quiet rage building like static before a lightning strike. I should have stayed out of it. God knows I tiptoed around Karen since she suggested I toned down my rainbow flag sticker last Pride Month, citing brand neutrality, but seeing Raj's jaw clench. That old betrayal from my own climb bubbling up, back when my ex-boss tanked my promotion for not fitting the culture, code for being the gay Jewish guy in a sea of bro dudes. I couldn't. Karen, I said, stepping forward with my best neutral tone. Move the car. We're all in this storm together. NVA Rule 4.2. No blocking access during emergencies. Her eyes narrowed to slits, the kind that promised HR complaints by end of day. Ethan, always the rulemonger. Fine, I'll move it. Eventually, she sauntered out, heels clicking like castanets, leaving a wake of eye rolls and whispers. By 2 p.m., she hadn't budged. Raj and I suited up, rain slickers over hoodies, and trekked out. The Escalade loomed, unrepentant, its grill smeared with mud like war paint. A small crowd had gathered, Maria from HR, nursing a twisted ankle from the shuttle, Tyler, the intern whose bike was tangled in branches, even old Mr. Hargrove from the condo board, umbrella in hand like a scepter. Karen, Raj called, polite but firm. No answer. We peered through the tinted windows, empty. She'd ghosted us, probably sipping Chardonnay in her corner office overlooking the mess she'd wrought. That's when I pulled out my phone. Not to call her no. That'd be too civil. I snapped pics, the blockade, the growing puddle threatening Maria's sedan, the fallen oak pinning Tyler's bike frame. Then, on a whim, I posted to the NVA Slack channel. Emergency parking violation, NVA Rule 4.2 in effect. Karen's Escalade blocking EV chargers. Thoughts? The responses flooded in like monsoon rain. Emojis first, facepalms. Angries. A poop symbol from Anonymous. Then words, this is Pete Karen. Call security? Video it for TikTok. By 3 p.m. It had jumped to the company-wide forum. Hashtags bloomed. Stormgate, Karen blockade, next tech nightmare. Karen materialized at 3:15, storming the lot like Patton at Normandy. Her blouse pristine despite the drizzle. Who authorized this circus? She bellowed. Spotting me. You. Ethan? Stirring the pot again? This is defamation. I'll have your badge. Raj stepped between us. Arms out. Karen, just move the car. It's not personal. Oh, it's personal now, she hissed, whipping out her key fob. The Escalade chirped to life remotely, but instead of shifting it a foot, she climbed in and revved the engine, tires spinning mud in a rooster tail that splattered Tyler's chinos. Try get it to work now? Peasants. The crowd erupted shouts, flashes from phones. Mr. Hargrove, the voice of geriatric reason, waded in. MS. Whitaker, this is unbecoming. The board will hear of. Stuff your board, she yelled, peeling out with a fishtail that clipped a branch, sending it cartwheeling toward Maria. She dodged, cursing in Spanish. And that was it. I hit record on my phone, capturing the whole tantrum in 4K glory. By 4 p.m., campus security rolled up, two burly ex-cops in polo shirts, walkie-talkies crackling. Mom, we've had multiple complaints. You need to relocate the vehicle immediately. Karen, now out of the car again. planted herself like a sequoia. Over my dead body. This is my spot. Executive privilege. Call my lawyer. The lead guard, a guy named Ortiz with a mustache like a push broom, sighed the sigh of a man who'd seen too many parking wars. Ma'am, it's not your spot. It's company property, and you're in violation. Move it, or we tow. Tow. You wouldn't dare. Her voice hit operatic highs, drawing a bigger crowd, now including our CEO, who'd wandered out for the show, martini in hand like it was happy hour. Ortiz radioed for backup. Fine. Cuffs if necessary. That's when a betrayal hit me hardest. Not Karen's entitlement, but the realization that I'd been complicit for years. Smiling through her microaggressions, nodding at board meetings where she vetoed diversity hires for cultural fit. This wasn't just about parking. It was payback for every sidelined voice in this fake utopia. As they zip-tied her wrists, gently, but firm, she spat venom. You'll all regret this. Lawsuits for days. But her eyes, for a split second, flickered with something raw. Fear? Nah. Just the dawning that her throne was built on sand. The video hit Twitter by 5 p.m. Karen arrest trended locally, then nationally. Nextech's stock dipped 2% on the PR hit. And me? I watched from my desk, heart pounding, knowing I'd lit the fuse. But revenge? It tasted like ash already. The arrest footage spread faster than wildfire in a Santa Ana wind, first across Bay Area feeds, then bouncing off coastal elites' timelines like a bad check. By evening rush, CEO Karen cuffed in parking lot meltdown was auto-playing on every news app from CNN to the Cron. I sat in my cubicle, pretending to tweet code while doom-scrolling the fallout. My inbox a war zone of pings, colleagues cheering hero, and a terse note from HR. Ethan, we need to chat incident documentation. Raj crashed beside me, laptop balanced on his knee, grinning like a kid who'd hacked the Pentagon. Dude, you see the comments? Finally, a storm that blows away the trash. One guy's petitioning for a Karen-free zone plaque on those spots. He high-fived me, but I could only muster a half-smile. See, this wasn't just schadenfreude, it was excavation. Digging up the rot I'd buried since joining Nextech 5 years back. Fresh out of MIT with stars in my eyes and a chip on my shoulder from getting ghosted by every startup in Boston for being too opinionated. Karen had been there from day one. The gatekeeper with the velvet glove over an iron spreadsheet. She'd mentored me, code for critiquing my abrasive emails while promoting her mini MES. The Karen's in training with MBAs from Pepperdine. Last year, when I pushed for non-binary bathrooms in the village expansion, she tabled it with a quip about not turning our oasis into a gender circus. I'd swallowed it, like everyone did, because bills don't pay themselves and Tech Bros Network by not rocking boats. But that video, it was the rock. By 7 p.m., as I nursed a beer at the campus pub, Nextech's unwind zone with craft IPAs and ping-pong tables. The screen above the bar looped the clip, Karen thrashing mildly as Ortiz guided her to the squad car. Her pleas of "this is assault, call the governor," drowned out by onlookers' jeers. The anchor, some perky ex-weather girl, clucked her tongue, in a post-pandemic world craving civility. This executive's entitlement storm has locals fuming. Sources say Nextech's board is reviewing options. Locals. Understatement. The NBA forum exploded. Threads like Karen's reign of terror. Time to abdicate. Racking up 500 replies. Mr. Hargrove posted a scan memo from '08. When Karen had lobbied to fine low-income families for unkempt lawns, code for immigrant renters. Maria shared screenshots of Karen's emails demanding English-only signs at the pool. Even Tyler, the intern, dropped a bombshell, a voice memo of her berating him for a subpar coffee run, slurs slipping in like oil slicks. I chimed in anonymously at first, witness to the blockade. This isn't isolated. She sued neighbors over holiday lights, then went full name when the likes hit triple digits. Catharsis? Sure. But as the night wore on and IPAs blurred to 3, doubt crept in. Was I the hero or just another pylon artist? Revenge is a dish best served viral, they say, but mine felt undercooked, laced with the bile of old wounds. Thursday dawned with Karen's face on the Chronicle's front page, mugshot light from her booking, which was really just a stern warning and a night in holding for disorderly conduct. Nextech's comms team spun it. Isolated incident. We're committed to a respectful workplace. But the damage? Terminal. Protests brewed outside the gates, not full Antifa, but a ragtag alliance of ex-employees, condo dwellers, and gig workers she'd blackballed from the shuttle service. Signs Bob, part for all. Not just Karen's and entitlement, the real climate crisis. I clocked in late. Raj dragging me to a solidarity huddle in the atrium. 50 strong, chanting mildly while sipping matcha. Our CEO, a tanned surfer type named Brad, who surf volley between quarters, took the mic. Folks, we're Next Tech, innovators, not instigators. Karen's on leave pending investigation. Let's channel this energy into hackathon ideas. Murmurs rippled. Raj leaned in. Bullshit. She's golfing with the board by Friday. He was right. Whispers said she'd lawyered up, threatening defamation suits against the Slack saboteurs. Me specifically, since my post had the most traction. By noon, the backlash looped back. Karen's allies counterattacked. A counter-thread in the exec lounge Slack. Witch hunt. Ethan's got an agenda. Remember his woke bathroom push. Suddenly, my performance reviews resurfaced in anonymous emails. Cherry-picked quotes twisted to paint me as the real disruptor. HR called me in at 1:15. A stone-faced suit named Linda with a bob that screamed compliance is my love language. Ethan, she said, sliding a tablet across. This video. You recorded it. Yeah. Public space. No expectation of privacy. She tapped her pen. But posting? It escalated. Karen claims harassment. I laughed, bitter as burnt toast. Harassment? She blocked emergency access. Endangered people. That's on her. Linda's eyes softened. Just a fraction. Look, we value your contributions. But in this climate, tread lightly. Mediation's on the table. Mediation? With a woman who'd once, jokingly, asked if my weekend plans involved protesting at the border? No thanks. I left the office early, driving the long way home through Palo Alto's manicured streets. Radio tuned to NPR, dissecting corporate Karens and the fragility of white womanhood. They name-checked our story, and I felt exposed, like I'd stripped naked for the world. That night, the real storm hit, death threats. Not to me, to Karen. Her address leaked on 4chan. Doxed by some edgelord who'd mistaken schadenfreude for jihad. Touch grass. Tyrant, one red, attached to a Photoshop of her face on a pitchfork. I scrolled in horror, the thrill curdling to nausea. This was my Frankenstein. I'd animated the mob, and now it hungered. Raj called at 10 p.m. Voice tight. Ethan, she's countersuing. Names you. Me. Even Ortiz. Conspiracy to defame. We need lawyers. I hung up, staring at my ceiling fan, whirring like accusations. Betrayal? Yeah, but not just hers. I betrayed my own code, the quiet grind, the incremental change. Now, it was scorched earth, and the smoke was choking us all. Friday brought the board's emergency meeting, streamed internally like a bad webinar. Brad, sweating under the lights, announced Karen Whitaker resigns effective immediately. We wish her well. No apology. No reckoning. Just a pivot to enhanced training on conflict resolution. The chat exploded with popcorn emojis. But as I logged off, a private message pinged from an anonymous exec. She's not gone. Backdoored consulting gig. Protect yourself. Vindication? Hollow. The revenge I'd craved tasted like victory confetti. Pretty, but littering the ground for someone else to sweep. Weekends in the valley are supposed to be for farmers markets and e-bike rides along the bay trails, not barricading your condo against pitchfork journalists. But there I was, Saturday morning, peering through blinds at the gaggle of reporters staking out Karen's McMansion 2 doors down, our village a petri dish of tech wealth and simmering resentments. She bought the place 5 years back, turning it into a shrine to aspirational WSDOM, flagstone paths, a beware of attorney sign, and a mailbox monogram KW. In curly gold. I'd moved in 3 years ago, lured by the community perks, pool, gym. That illusion of belonging after my Boston breakup left me adrift. Big mistake. BNVA, under Karen's scepter, turned neighborly into nosy. Fines for my compost bin, rodent attraction, complaints about my loud podcast listens on quantum entanglement. She'd even petitioned to revoke my guest pass for a Black Lives Matter rally, citing disruptive optics. Now, her fortress crumbled live on local news. A van from KPIX idled curbside, cameraman zooming on her garage as she emerged, flanked by a lawyer in a suit sharper than a switchblade. No comment, she barked, but the mic caught her muttering, "Liberal snowflakes ruining America." Cut to B-roll of the parking lot. My video spliced in, narrator intoning. One man's parking beef becomes a national referendum on privilege. My phone buzzed nonstop. Friends from back east. Dude, you're famous. TED Talk next. Colleagues, beers on me. You slayed the dragon. But the undercurrent? Venom. Karen's network. A web of country club conservatives and LinkedIn lifers. Mobilized. My Twitter mentions filled with blue-check trolls. Ethan Klein. Agitator or attention whore? Misgendering my last name. Dredging up a decade-old blog post where I'd vented about synagogue vandalism. One viral thread accused me of staging the whole thing for clout, complete with deepfake stills of me planting branches. Raj holed up at my place by noon. Laptop fortress against the siege. This is cancel culture on steroids, he said, scrolling Glassdoor reviews, tanking Nextech to 2.3 stars. Karen's people are review bombing. And get this, her husband's firm just pulled a vendor contract. I poured us whiskeys. Neat. Good. Let it burn. But as we clinked, guilt gnawed. Karen wasn't a cartoon villain. She was a product of this machine, divorced twice, clawing from Midwest secretary to C-suite shark. I'd overheard her once. Post-yoga wine session, confessing to a bored wife, pushed too hard after the kids left. Now it's just the title keeping me warm. Empathy? Fleeting. She'd weaponized that hardness against us all. By Sunday, the outrage metastasized. Protests swelled, not just at campus, but her old haunts. The junior league brunch mobbed by sign waivers, Karen's not welcome. Her Pilates studio posting neutral zone disclaimers. A GoFundMe for storm victims, wink, raised $50K overnight. Earmarked 4 anti-entitlement scholarships. Satirists pounced. SNL teased a skit. Parking Wars, the executive edition, with Kate McKinnon channeling her perfect snarl. Nextech folded like cheap lawn chairs. Monday's all hands, Brad, virtual from his yacht, announced cultural recalibration, mandatory bias training. Parking lottery overhaul. A voice vault app for anonymous gripes. My badge, intact, with a leadership nod for fostering dialogue. Raj got a quiet promo. But the whispers? Token wins. Real change? When health freezes. HR's mediation invite arrived at lunch. Karen. Via Zoom. Looking like she'd aged a decade. Roots showing. No macaparme. Her lawyer. A silver fox with a Harvard drawl. Opened. We're here for resolution. Not retaliation. MS. Whitaker regrets the heat of the moment. Regrets? She stared through the screen, lips pursed. Ethan, you think this vindicates you? I built this village, fought for the pools, the security gates. You? You code widgets while I shielded us from lawsuits. Recessions. Raj bristled. Shielded? You mean strong-armed. The emails. The vetoes, that's not building. Her voice cracked. Just once. Strong-armed? Try surviving as a woman in this boys' club. Every concession was a battle. That parking? It was my anchor in the storm, literal and otherwise. I leaned in, the betrayed boy in me surfacing. Your anchor drowned us. Karen. Maria's ankle? Tyler's bike? My faith in this place. You blocked more than spots. The lawyer interjected, but she waved him off. Fine. Sue me for the damages. But know this, you're no better. That video, it wasn't justice, it was spectacle. Now we're all circus freaks. We settled. She paid out of pocket for repairs, a donation to the scholarship fund, and a non-disclosure on the nitty-gritty. Endshik's via pixels. But her eyes held no warmth. Just the cold calculus of a cornered exec plotting comebacks. The week blurred into backlash echo chamber. Media requests piled, podcasters wanting my origin story, a docuseries producer sniffing Oscar bait. I demurred, but the damage lingered, sleepless nights replaying her arrest. The crowd's roar morphing in dreams to my own cuffs. Raj thrived, landing a TEDx slot on digital reckonings, but I tendered notice quietly, citing new opportunities. Truth? The air tasted toxic now. Every Slack, ping, a potential landmine. Karen vanished from the village grid. Rumors said Aspen retreat, or a sabbatical ghostwriting for a think tank on woke overreach. Her house went dark. For sale sign sprouting like a tombstone. But the real bitter pill? Her final NVA newsletter, emailed at midnight before she ghosted. To my neighbors, storms pass, but scars linger. Thank you for the lessons. KW. Lessons? We'd schooled each other in cruelty's curriculum. My revenge. Once sweet, soured to regret, not for her fall, but for the chasm it carved in us all. November rolled in like a hangover, crisp air laced with eucalyptus. Pumpkin spice lattes masking the rot. Next Tech's campus shimmered post-reckoning. New signs proclaimed inclusive lots for all. The EV chargers festooned with rainbow stickers courtesy of the Fresh Diversity Committee. Raj chaired it, his promo propelling him to Culture Catalyst, a title that sounded like a rejected energy drink. Me? I freelanced from a coffee shop in Menlo Park, debugging remote for startups too broke for Karens. The village a rearview specter I avoided like bad takeout. But closure? That's a myth peddled by therapists with MBAs. 2 weeks post-mediation, a manila envelope thudded onto my porch, no stamp, just my name in block letters. Inside, printouts of emails, timestamps from 19 to now. Karen's digital trail, CC&G board allies on my disruptive tendencies, forwarding my Slack post to her hubby the lobbyist with notes like watch this one, potential liability. Buried deeper, a draft resignation letter from last spring, citing toxic dynamics, addressed to Brad but never sent. Scribbled margin, not yet. Fight smarter. My hand shook as I scanned it. This wasn't apology, it was ammo. Or autopsy. She'd curated her own downfall. A preemptive strike from exile. No note, but the intent screamed. See, I was the victim too. Join me in the club of the betrayed. I burned it in the sink. Petty, but purifying, watching flames lick the lies. But when I spilled over foe that night, shrugged. Classic Karen pivot. From queen to martyr. Don't let her rent space in your head. Easy for him. His arc bent toward light. Keynotes. A podcast deal. Mine loop dark. Therapy sessions, unpacking not just her, but the ex who'd bailed when I got too political, the prof who'd lowballed my thesis for overreach. Karen was symptom, not disease. The real betrayal was the system that minted her, then devoured its own when the optics soured. December brought snow, rare valley dustings that turned the village into a postcard lie. The NVA holiday party, sans carêne, felt like a wake, eggnog spiked with relief. Toast to fresh starts. Mr. Hargrove cornered me by the tree, candy cane in paw. So, you did what we couldn't. But remember, mercy seasons justice. Mercy? I'd offered none. As party-goers caroled corporate carols, parodies of jingle bells about stock options, my phone lit up. A text from an unknown. Ethan, KW here. One last thing. Meet at the Old Oak Spot? Midnight. Come alone. Curiosity. That cat killer. Drag me out. The lot, cleared and graveled anew, glowed under sodium lamps. She waited by the stump of the fallen tree, bundled in cashmere, breath fogging like confessions. No lawyer, no entourage, just Karen, diminished, the Botox cracks showing in streetlight. You came, she said, voice stripped of boardroom brass. Expected the cops. I shoved hands in pockets. Expected nothing. Why now? She gestured to the stump. This. Ground zero. Thought it'd be cathartic. Hash it out. Off record. We sat on the curb. Awkward as exes at arbitration. She lit a cigarette, Marlboro Red. A Midwest ghost, and exhaled slow. I was wrong. The car. The screaming. Entitlement's a drug. I OD'd that day. Wrong. I echoed, tasting the word. You terrorized us for years. The emails. The vetoes, that wasn't a bad day. Her laugh. Right. Guilty. But context, Dad died in '05. Left me the fighter gene. Climbed here clawing, sexism. Glass ceilings. By 40. It warped me. Saw threats everywhere. Your flag. Raj's curry smells. Tyler's tattoos. Pathetic. Huh, pathetic? Relatable. In a gut punch way. I get fighting. But you picked on the wrong underdogs. Eyes met. Hers wet-rimmed. Knew that. After the arrest, cuffs cold as regret, I replayed it all. The village? My kingdom of quicksand. Now it's rubble. And I'm the fool who salted the earth. Silence stretched, punctuated by distant traffic hum. I could have unloaded the nights I doubted my worth. The promotions she torpedoed. Instead, what now? Victim fund? Memoir. She stubbed the smoke. Therapy. Maybe. Or Florida, gators don't judge parking. A pause. Then Ethan. Your video? It freed me. In a twisted way. Forced the mirror. Thank you. And sorry for the blockade. The burdens. Sorry. The word hung. Insufficient as a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. I nodded. The revenge arc bending toward. What? Not forgiveness. But fatigue. Don't thank me. Just. Evolve. For the next village. She rose. Silhouette shrinking toward her rental Prius. Downgrade from the Cade. Will do. Marry whatever. She drove off. Taillights fading like a bad sequel's credits. I lingered. The lot vast and empty. The bitter in not a slam, but a sigh. Outrage expended. Controversy cinders. No viral triumph. Just quiet reclamation. Back home, I drafted my own letter to Next Tech. Formal exit. Grateful for the lessons, I wrote, echoing her newsletter. Raj toasted it over Zoom to new codes. Months later, whispers. Karen consulting for a nonprofit on executive resilience, irony's gift. Me, a startup in Oakland, building AI for equity audits. The scar? Faint. A reminder that revenge circles back. Bitter but fertile. In America's endless storm, we all block spots sometimes. The trick? Moving before the arrest.